This is a quick build video for this rover that comes with as an option for the robot building kit. Okay, so you have your 3D printed parts. Um, and one thing I find that helps with these wheels is to cover them with silicone and let them dry overnight. That's sort of a first step. That helps them to have a little more traction. Okay, so then you're going to want to connect that coupling. There's a clamping coupling in there with I think it's a metric uh, um, 6 to metric 5 clamping coupling. And so you're going to have a carriage around this motor. So the first thing, I would attach the carriage to the motor, and you can for 4 screw places, but 2 is usually enough to really hold it to the motor. Then that will connect to the clamping coupling, and then let's see. Then you're going to want to use your hex wrench to tighten it through the actual. You want to align those holes, and you're going to tighten it through the wheel with a hex wrench. And then you're going to put the other one is a similar screw. You can use the screw that came with it, or you can use the a metric 3 socket head screw. I think it's like a 12 millimeter length with I think it's a metric 3. I think they're brass spacers, like a PCB spacer around it. Screw that in, doesn't have to be all the way. And then there's a 3D printed peg you can use as the axis, but I'm also finding it should really be metric 5, like a metric 3, actually metric 5, sorry, metric 5 screw will not really be clamped well. You need, one thing that will though is a rivet, a metric 5 rivet. That's another option, but the 3D printed plastic one works fine, and it's pennies, in cost, so that's a good option. Run the wires. You can drill a hole through the center, or you can model a hole through the center. Run the wires up through the top. So these wheels connect through with metric 3 screws through the top. Sounds like my dryer's dead. Okay. So also with a nut. So basically metric 3, 2 metric 3 screws. You want to make sure they're aligned in a straight way. 3 all together. The 2 have the motors in the back. This one just moves freely in the front. Okay, so let's flip it over and look at the top. This one has, you can really use anything, Raspberry Pi, whatever, Banana Pro. You need some kind of brain. You can even run a brain offline, but then it would require, off the actual chassis, then it would require a network connection, a physical wired connection. So what I have is just the Banana Pro. And currently I'm just running the HDMI out to a monitor, but that's the only wire running off of this thing. It does have a SATA drive, and for that I need to use this 3D printed, this PCB adapter, the schematics of which are in the electronics zip file. This provides it enough electricity, enough current to power that SATA drive. But I think really you don't even really need a SATA drive for this particular application. You can put everything on just an SD card. And I think this has an SD card slot. Maybe it's underneath. Yeah, I think so. Just a little SD card, yeah, here. A little mini micro SD card. Probably everything would run off that without any problem. And in real time too, that's the coolest thing. The default for Banana Pro has the RT preempt enabled and configured. So I'm using just a 12-volt battery. I would use a lithium-ion battery, probably, or battery pack. And I like to use a little switch, into the DC, these little DC 2.1 adapters, which you can get on eBay, which are very convenient. And then you'll want also I think 1 to 2, 1 female to 2 male cable adapters, so you can run the 12 volts to the ETH motors and also to the 3 volt Actually, you're going to need probably two of those to the 3-volt 3.3, or the switch mode regulator, which is is set to 3.3 volts, and then also one to this. You need a second one too for the Banana Pro to get its 5 volts. So the battery is going to have a third wire going to that. So that's all, though. Then you just need to connect the two motors. I'm using them into two motors. Let's see, 1 and 7, which are on a walking robot, are the two ankle motors. So they can be run together at the same time or in opposite directions with the keyboard arrow keys. So that's all there is to it. Then I'm just plopping the battery on top of this SATA drive, and see the video of running scripts on this Rover to see exactly what to do after here. This is just mostly a build log, so that's it. There you have it. That's all you need to get this thing working without any wires or without any cables. So that's that.